So the interesting thing about this report is that once a quarter, we get percentage of heifers that are in that mix of cattle placed or cattle in feed yards. When you take a look, this is March data, so we have that for this month. As you take a look at that information, what do you see?
So let me start with, I guess, just the big numbers. So steers on feed were essentially unchanged from last year. So I'm going to kind of start there as kind of our baseline. If you look at the number of heifers estimated to be on feed April 1 of this year versus last year, that was down 4%, so that's noteworthy. Now, the way that I like to think about this, and most folks do, and we've done this, I think you've probably done this every single quarterly report that you've talked about, Meghan, with one of us, but you look at what percent of on-feed inventory is heifers. In expansionary times when we're holding back a lot of heifers, you tend to see that in the low 30%, so south of 35%. We've been in the upper 30s. We've actually been above 40 the last couple of years a few times. So heifers as a percent of total on-feed inventory as of April 1 of this year, forgive me for the precision, but 37.6%. And I wanted to be kind of precise about it. So it rounded to 38% in the report, but 37.6. To put it in perspective, that's about 1% lower than January of this year, and also about 1% lower of April 1 of last year. So that percentage is creeping down, although it is doing so fairly slowly.
But when we look at it in comparison to normal times or in growth or expansion mode, we're still well above that threshold.
It definitely doesn't suggest to me that we're holding back a lot of heifers at this point, not enough to think about flipping the switch on expansion. It may suggest, like we've talked about, that liquidation may be starting to slow to some extent, but it certainly does not paint a picture of a widespread heifer retention.